Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, July 29th. Today we will continue to see scattered showers and thunderstorms develop across most areas of the Great Basin. They'll be a little bit more isolated up into parts of central Idaho and a little bit on the drier side, more of a mix of wet and dry storms up in those areas. We will continue to see similar conditions on Friday with even deeper moisture pushing north into the Great Basin, and by Saturday we do expect aerial-wide coverage of these scattered wet thunderstorms. The main threats from these drier thunderstorms up in Idaho will be the gusty outflow winds today. However, also with the wetter thunderstorms, especially further south and east, we could see potential flash flooding or localized debris flows on some of our recent burn scars. Looking at our smoke forecast over the next 24 hours, we will see again the most concentrated areas of smoke this morning across Idaho, and as we see some mixing throughout the day, those areas should lift with more hazy conditions throughout the afternoon. Also similar at 6,000 feet, again mainly over the northern third of the Great Basin. Over the last 24 hours, we saw quite a bit of lightning over parts of eastern Idaho, Wyoming, down into northern Utah and northeast Nevada, and also across the rest of Utah. These thunderstorms were on the wetter side. We did see reports over a quarter or over a half inch, even as far north as Idaho and Wyoming. However, these wetter thunderstorms up north were a little bit more spotty. Further south, we did see better areas of wetting rains across Utah. Also saw some thunderstorms across central and western Nevada. These thunderstorms were on the drier side, only producing a few hundredths of an inch of precipitation. Our Great Basin fire activity is shown here. We did have a moderate initial attack with 32 new starts reported across the Great Basin and a couple new large fires, especially up towards the Boise. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've continued to see moisture push northward with these surges of the monsoon. Most of our above normal precipitation has been located across the southern half or southern third of the Great Basin over the last 2 weeks. Further north, this precipitation has been more spotty across Idaho, Wyoming, and northern and western Nevada. Our ERCs have decreased a little bit even across parts of Idaho and Wyoming where that moisture continues to push north. Again, it's been fairly spotty, so some areas that have seen precipitation, ERCs have dropped more significantly. Other areas we're still seeing ERCs above the 80th to 90th percentile. Similar conditions in northern Nevada with more significant drops in ERCs over the southern half of the Great Basin where that moisture has been more persistent. Looking at some of our ERC charts, up in Idaho, you can see the ERCs have come down, but are still generally above normal across most of central and western Idaho. Over western Nevada, where we have seen again more pulses of moisture as well, ERCs have been dropping, but again still remain above normal. Over the rest of Utah into southern and eastern Nevada, we are seeing ERCs below normal with that again more persistent moisture. Our satellite image from this morning shows the area of high pressure centered over the Rockies and the plains with that southerly flow allowing that moisture to push north across the Great Basin. Again, over central and western Idaho and even into western Nevada, we are seeing that moisture a little bit more limited still, but we will see those changes over the coming days. As we look at the weather pattern for later this afternoon, again, you can see the deepest moisture over central and eastern areas of the Great Basin. So where our isolated thunderstorms are going to be a little bit more on the drier side, we still have some high risk over central Idaho. Even though relative humidity has been elevated, again, we are seeing that mix of wet and dry with those gusty outflow winds. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again, most of those heavily concentrated areas of thunderstorms will be over the southern and eastern half of the Great Basin and on the wetter side, with again more limited coverage up in Idaho, but again on the drier side. Winds today will generally be light to moderate. We will still see some breezy winds at times over parts of central and western Idaho where we do have our large fires. However, relative humidity will remain elevated across most of the Great Basin. Some exceptions will be over southwest and west central Idaho where relative humidity will remain below 15 or 20%, and also over parts of northwest Nevada. As we move into Friday, we do see that greater push of deeper moisture up into western and northern areas of the Great Basin. So we are expecting more lightning coverage and some more rainfall up across Idaho and even western Nevada. So we don't have any high risk for Friday, again anticipating these storms to be more on the wetter side. And again, you can see the thunderstorms on Friday, a little bit higher coverage further north in Nevada. Again, we are expecting a little bit more shower activity in Idaho on Friday, but more so over the weekend. Winds, again, will remain light to moderate. We will see those gusty outflow winds with thunderstorms, as you can see across Nevada, and still more of those breezy winds up across Idaho and even western Nevada. Relative humidity will still remain elevated, but still remain below about 20% over parts of northwest Nevada and up into parts of Idaho. As we move into Saturday, we continue with that push of moisture, especially over the western half of the Great Basin. So again, no significant fire potential expected, expecting those storms to be a little bit on the wetter side with higher humidity. On Saturday, you can see we have the greatest lightning coverage across Idaho over the next few days. Again, these thunderstorms are expected to be on the wetter side, so we should see better chances of wetting rains up across Idaho and some of those drier spots as we move into Saturday. Winds remain light to moderate, more of an easterly flow with breezy winds in the north and more of a westerly flow across Nevada. Also, gusty outflow winds will be expected near the thunderstorms. Relative humidity really increases on Saturday in all areas as we see that greater push of moisture. So we will see most areas remaining above 25% relative humidity in the afternoon, even across northwest Nevada and Idaho that has been drier. Forecast amounts of precipitation for the next 3 days are shown here. You can see the heaviest precipitation still across Nevada and Utah, but we will see some greater chances of more widespread wetting rains move up into Idaho. Some of the drier spots still will be parts of western and northwest Nevada that will only see likely spotty light precipitation with these thunderstorms. As we move into Sunday, that moisture remains over northern and western areas. So again, no high risk with a better chance of wetting rains in the northern areas. And as we move into Monday, this is where we'll start to see the change of drier air pushing in from the west, decreasing lightning coverage and lowering relative humidity. Right now, winds still look to be in the light or moderate range, so no gusty winds really to note yet, but we will be watching for winds to increase towards midweek. So no significant fire potential indicated. Still everything pretty moist from the thunderstorms. As we move into Tuesday, we will start to see that drying trend take hold over much of Nevada, into Idaho as well. So significant decrease in lightning coverage across all of the Great Basin, and we will see some of our areas in western Nevada and Idaho start to dry out going towards early to midweek. This trend continues through the middle of the week as well. So again, more PSAs going in the yellow. We'll probably see some areas going into the brown over the far western side as we move towards the middle of the week. Forecast amounts of precipitation for the next 7 days. So this includes what we saw for the 3-day and then also continues through what we'll continue to see over the weekend. So again, good chances of widespread wetting rains over much of Idaho and Wyoming and also Nevada and Utah. Again, not quite as much over western and northwest Nevada and even really over southeast Utah. But again, looking at Idaho and Wyoming, we should see a significant drop in fire danger, at least for several days up north with this rainfall. The 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us from August 5th through the 11th, shows warmer and drier conditions returning. So again, we are looking for more of a drying signature going into August. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.